Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna call the meeting to order here at 6:04 p.m.
Start your recording.
Yep. Who do we got here?
Scott Breyer, Select Board.
Phil Marquette, Select Board.
Matt Maxwell, Town Administrator.
Dave Bartlett,
Dave Ballot, that board.
Kara Keeman, resident.
We got the Hills. And go ahead, Deb.
Deb Tangway, town clerk, town bookkeeper.
Dave?
You did already.
Oh, you did? Okay. Do we have any changes or deletions for the agenda?
Would it bother anybody if we moved 13 up to 6? I got kind of a medical thing going on with my sister-in-law in case I gotta leave. We won't be long on 13 anyway.
What is that one?
Executive session.
Yeah.
Nope, no problem, Dave. Do you want to do it after 6 or before 6?
Either or. No, right after 5 be good.
Okay, got it.
When are budgets due? Or is it gone by?
2 days ago, Karen. No, you're fine. I have to have it to the printer by January 20th.
Oh, okay,
You
But
told me it's
if
16.
you could get it to me at least a week
Your date
before then,
keeps-
that would be good.
okay, because we were supposed to get something going for the, Coventry Fall Festival.
Right, yeah,
Okay, so we'll make sure we have it for the next one.
yeah, thank you.
You told me the 16th.
What?
You told me the 16th. Come on.
16th, January 16th.
Okay, there's at least one meeting before that.
Yes.
We've got a sheriff invoice we gotta discuss here under other business, and then a power washer purchase also under other business. You guys, public comment, or you wanna wait till we get to the roads? Okay. Number 4 would be the town report dedication. Does anybody have a individual in town that they think we should dedicate the town report to? Or it could be 2 people or whatever, just somebody that I can take a picture of or say, this is your report this year.
David, you thought about that?
You talking to me? I guess I had recommended Rodney Stone.
No.
I like that.
I like that.
Go ahead, motion it, guys.
I make a motion that the town report dedication this year will go to Rodney Stone.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, guys. Okay, next up, we have town highways, 6237.
37.
This is continued from this was a continuation from last meeting where we didn't come up with any, both these roads were on the agenda last month,
Mhm.
and there was nothing, we didn't come up with the solution.
62 is the bridge. No, 62 is 62 is the bridge. Right.
Is the bridge in that little section up to it, isn't it, Phil?
Yeah. I got thrown off because is it 37 or 67?
37. Well, 37 was the one that was on there last month, unless you want to, I mean, we can do whatever you want.
Let me look that up quick. 62. So there's me bringing up 62 in that bridge was from the 911 addressing standpoint. From the state, all roads need to have a name. And it was brought to my attention is that wasn't going anywhere. There was no technical road on it. And it was suggested to discontinue that road. Now, Dave, I think is you do know, because I believe I saw it in your email today, is that V-Trans says it's not up to standards. So there's a couple options. We get rid of it or we put it down to a trail or something, but I think that particular one I don't know what to do from that. From my addressing chair, there's no road.
Are
And
you still talking about 62?
yeah, 62.
So I guess my thought is, and I asked Jim to weigh in on it. I don't know if he did, but why wouldn't we either just upgrade it to class 3, which basically will mount to a load of gravel and grading it. We turn around there anyway. And then on 37, if it's not bothering the landowner, I don't know why we would take any action.
Hang on.
We just gotta give 37 a name, correct?
Yeah, but hang on. I don't think it's 37.
It might be, Phil. It might actually have gone up to Linton Hill at one point.
See if the state site's working now. 22. Oh, yeah, it is 30. Okay, 62 is the bridge, 37 is Jim Cobb's. So 62 is the one that's more of a question, I think, right now, just because personally, I'm looking at it as not even a road. And I
As
think
what, Phil?
it's not even a road because it's not going anywhere from either side. And I think that's something we should discuss to figure out what are the options to do what you're talking is to be able to keep it open to the public, which I think Jim Cobb's side is easy. But and then the other side, he in his email, he mentioned something about Fish and Game having a right of way. Is that on the
So I don't know. I would assume they would have been granted a right of way through there. I just don't see any need to give it up. I'm thinking down the road, you might want to put a pedestrian bridge there. Who knows? You know, the way the world acts now with recreation. I'd like to see that kept.
So if we do that, here's gonna be my suggestion from the addressing side. Is we change it to a trail, because it's not up to standards anyways by V-Trans. So it's not even a class 4, right? When they classify it as a not up to standard.
Or just leave it.
Or we could say- Yeah,
or instead of going through any, maybe we could just drop it down through our mileage thing. But I was thinking, if you want it all as a 4, you could keep it that way too.
okay, so that I think we can work on.
Because I just don't know. I can't really speak to trail and if the right of ways are the same and the responsibilities are the same. So without having that in front of me, I'd hate to speak to that.
That we'll have to look that up to see, and that'd be a Jason question probably, right?
You can find out, Matt, what the difference between a class 4 and a trail is.
Like if
It's
it's,
right on. It'll be right on the state's website. I just don't have it in front of me.
yeah, no, that's fine. 37 Jim Cobb's Road. That we named that was one that you signed. We named that back in February. That one was in the process of the naming part was brought up as, okay, this is a class 4 that goes up into a field of. Do we just keep the section as class 3 and then drop the class 4 section? And keep, like, it'll be a 0.04 miles of class 3 named at the Coventry Falls, whatever it was.
Was it gap view or?
And then after that 0.4, it's just private after that. So this is where I think Jim was right, we should have him here. For that part. And any of the landowners, so.
So why?
Well, find out where he's at on that 37. As far as 62, I say we just keep it.
Yeah. So we don't have to do anything as far as 62 is right now, other than we should name it. If it's staying a road,
Yeah.
it's gonna end up having to be named.
62
So
is abutments.
how would you go about naming it? Would you put your street address out by the abutment?
Yeah, I'd probably put it out there. on
Yeah.
Urbanville. And actually, it's in the orange book, the state, you're supposed, it should be on all intersections, would that be true?
Well, it could, but your intersection's actually gonna be the abutment if we keep 62.
On Hermanville, but if we go over to 37 also, it'll be there too, technically. If we keep that a class 3. That we can deal with later.
Let's name it Need a Bridge Road.
Need a bridge road.
Bridgeless.
Need a bridge road.
Yeah.
Bridgeless road.
Bridgeless Road or Need a Bridge.
Well, Phil, can you find out
And
if we could just have the whole road named? That,
Oh, we can,
what
yeah.
you call it?
So I talked to Tyler today. He said the thing comes down to. He looks at it as not a road, so it's not going anywhere. It's all up to us. But he said that their regulations or whatever you want to call it is all legal roads need to have a name on it. So if we name it, it's gonna be up to their standards, so.
Well, like I say, it's not a huge deal to bring it up to standard. It was just kind of one of those forgotten things that went by the way after the bridge was moved and the Leonard boys died, you know. I guess my question was, can we use the Coventry Falls name there or whatever you had at the intersection of Hermanville? And that be the name for both 62 and that little section of 37?
I don't think so,
Okay,
but I can check.
all right.
I do like your idea of a pedestrian bridge though, because
There's a lot
walking
of,
across that bridge, people are using that, so
that's a lot of,
it's not a bad idea.
it's a lot of, there's probably a lot of grants for that too.
Yeah,
It's beautiful down there. It's pretty, you
I
know.
think,
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I think you guys just pay me for the good ideas.
yep, that's right.
is there our Coventry Falls Road?
So we named Jim Cobb's, that road that goes up Jim Cobb's Coventry Falls. And that's what he was asking, was if we can kind of loop it over onto that. I don't think we can, but I can check.
Coventry Falls Extension?
You don't want to, they won't let me do that. That's why they got rid of Pleasant Street Extension.
Well, think up a name for the next meeting. We'll,
Yep, so we'll let the name Highway 62, I'll verify with the state on the addressing side. 37's already named, the only thing up in the air is I think we need to talk with Jim and figure out what we're doing as far as classification.
yeah.
Great.
I guess to me, if he hasn't approached us about throwing it up, and it is a class 4, I guess no need to get involved. You can reach out to him though.
The only thing that, this is why it came up, is the state said, well, it's a class 4 road going nowhere. Don't
Yeah.
need it. So, we get money from trans on mileage for 4s,
No,
it's only class 3 higher,
yeah, 3 and 2 are the only ones we're reimbursed for.
okay.
Okay, so the hills are here, so if we want to talk about their road, this is the time to do it.
Their road's named
44.
number 44, that'll be submitted to the state, and then everything else, I think we've beaten with it.
Did you locate the policy?
I have a class 4 draft policy. It's not anything you guys have ever voted on
We
or
We never,
Specific to the town or from V-Trans?
specific to the town. I found in one of the folders. I don't know how old it is. I don't know who wrote it and. I could never find any instance in the minutes where it was actually approved or anything. So it's just a draft.
Okay, so let's do this, because I know David's work on time. You wanna send that, we'll make copies and
why don't we pass
we
this?
can look at it over before the next meeting. And it can be on the agenda for the next meeting. And maybe throw it by Brian. That'd be an idea.
Yep.
Run it by Brian and then run it to us and we can look at it.
It might be cheaper right through the League of City and Town.
Well, yeah, actually, that might be,
Instead of asking Brian, ask the
Yeah.
VLCT.
make sure, like read through the VLC, because I think that template came from VLCT, so that might actually just
It
be
looks
the
like it-
template,
It looks like. it
just with
does.
our stuff in it.
Right, but somebody typed in.
They put some other stuff in there,
And
yeah.
put some other stuff in here, so I don't know if it was Ned, I don't know if it was Amanda, I know it wasn't me, so.
Man.
You want to give the copy of that? It's a rough, it's just a rough draft.
You have a copy on your computer?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a rough copy.
It's a
of-
rough-
I haven't looked at it, so I don't know really.
It's voted on or anything.
It's nothing.
It's just the draft that I found that I don't know if the town has used that policy in the past or not, I don't.
None of the three of us have seen it yet, so.
That's just, that's,
And you're funny, because I don't have my glasses.
so that's a starting point that we're gonna start with that, and then we're gonna work with that to come up with whatever it is we're gonna come up with.
And it's almost like what you guys, what you handed out before.
Just quick glancing, it looked like it was the template with some stuff added to it, so.
But could be.
Yeah, this is similar to what you gave me, Phil.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It probably is right off verbatim.
Yeah.
and you know what? I'm still not okay with it, because there's more people up there. And
Mhm.
you opened it up to side by sides. Snowmobiles are fine, because, yeah, they keep it back. But when it comes to side by sides, I'm sorry. Yeah, we get money from landfill. Why don't you start sharing it with the residents that pay their bill, their tax money? Even though you said it just goes to school, I write my check out to the town of Coventry. Where it goes, I don't give a shit, as long as I pay my taxes. But you get all this money from that landfill. And I'm a resident of Coventry, share the wealth, make that freaking class 3 road. That's all I ask. Because I'm done dumping in money for gravel. So you guys let side by sides, 4-wheelers, dirt bikes go through there, and they're just, I'm not happy with it. And if you guys want to throw it up, that's fine, throw it up. I will put a gate up from my part to the end of my part of my property, and nobody will come on there. I'm done throwing money into that road, and I can't get help from the town of Coventry when they're getting all this money from the landfill.
That's why we're talking about it, and that's why we're gonna review it.
Well, this is the same shit that I got from Phil last time. No, and this is going on and on and on.
This town
It's
stuff,
going on and on and on. Let's keep your goddamn heads together and figure it out. Spring's coming and I don't want to put my car through it. I will take pictures of what a friggin' deep hole it is. Ernie has got a great road. He's gotten so much gravel free from the Bass Trail. Did I? No. Did
Doreen,
I?
we've heard this. I've heard it. I understand your frustration. Believe me, I hear you.
I'm a taxpayer. And I want something from the landfill.
And you're a taxpayer who built a home on a class 4 road.
That's,
Nothing has changed. Nothing, you knew you were building on a class 4 road.
that's right.
And the town has,
You didn't think that you guys were gonna go and keep it through it and freaking dirt gone. That's what I'm pissed off about.
You're not gonna get anything solved by yelling, or, you know, it's not, doesn't, you don't have to yell.
What,
You don't have to yell at me, you know,
what income
I
here,
understand.
love where I live, it's away from fucking people.
Yep.
My peace of mind, right there. Get up in the morning, in the spring, have a cup of coffee, out my carport, see the sun rise. Beautiful spot. But why do I need to allow side by sides ruining what I or John has to deal with? You guys want to keep it class 4? Just like I told you, I will put fucking gates up. My property end, each side. And I'm sure John, Mariano, and Joey will be on my page. And you guys gotta come up with a decision pretty goddamn soon, because this is getting boring. Come and
If
talk
we
about the
rush the
same-
decision, you're probably never
same-
gonna like the decision because we won't do anything. We're not required to do anything.
That's what
We're
the
not
council said.
required to do anything. It's up to standard. You know, we're trying to take in your comments and process through. But right now,
You know, you give me, and I come down here and I feel like I'm wasting my time.
it's a
Because
process.
you know what, now it's class 4.
It's a process.
It's a class 4 road. And what's the big deal? Making it class 3 when there's a lot more people on that road. When you guys talked about one person, Cobb, class 3, 4. Come on. There's more people on my road now. I'm gonna take that in consideration. Plus hunting, hunting's done with. Now it's snowmobile. I don't have a problem with snowmobiles or the groomer. They smooth it out. But you know what? When it comes spring,
The town has to consider all class 4 roads because they're all considered equal.
No,
So,
they're not.
no, but
No,
they're
they're
considered
not.
equal.
no,
So
they're not.
the decision,
They're,
Doreen,
Doreen,
listen to me. The decision that we make for the class 4 roads is gonna be implemented on all the class 4 roads. So the town needs to consider what it's gonna cost or what it's gonna mean to do it. It's not just your road. It's just not your class 4 road. It's all of them. They all have to be treated the same.
there's not too many roads like mine.
there's many class 4s, that's the thing.
Well, yeah, there's many classes.
It's.
I actually
it's
went
all-
up your road
it's
this
all-
weekend. I went by your house this weekend. I was there.
Black truck.
It was nice. That road's
Black
pretty
truck?
nice. No, I wasn't in a black truck.
What color was the truck?
My truck was red.
Red. I did see it, yeah. Yeah, it's nice now, after it snowed. It gets plowed, groomer came down. Phil,
It's ready,
huh?
it's ready and
I bet it's red in the
Mud.
spring, but,
Phil,
So-
you were on that road.
okay.
I don't wanna feel like I'm coming here wasting my time.
I understand. I don't want you to waste your time. It's gonna, before we get a policy in place, it's probably gonna be 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 more meetings. You don't need to come to all of them. We won't make a decision without you being here. So if you want us to notify after we've had time to work on,
I just want
Putting-
you guys to understand, there's more people on that road and there's more traffic.
Mhm.
And I'm not just saying from the beginning to Pines, I'm talking about. Yeah. There was a Ford truck, he came up after the snowstorm through the class 4 road from Irisburg side.
I know, it's a class 4 road. It's not a private driveway. You can't stop anybody from going up the road.
No, but
But unfortunately, you have to pay for all the improvements on it with your neighbors if you want it to be nicer. That's the way it is right now. Do I think that's fair? Probably not, but that's just, I didn't make it a class 4 road, you know, so.
and all I want is really the select board to really think now, because you added more damage to our road. With the side by sides and four wheelers and dirt bikes.
Right, and we need to take that into consideration,
Okay,
you know?
I understand.
Thanks. Let's move on.
Okay, next up, we're going to have a quick executive session.
It's me or
This is gonna be you reading this, Bill.
am I part of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
Personal.
Yeah,
Oh.
absolutely, yeah, okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
guys.
right, hey, have a happy holiday.
Yep. Bye, guys.
Bye, thank you.
I only need to do the first one.
Just the personnel.
This one right there?
Yeah, personnel.
I move that we go into executive session to discuss a personnel matter under the provision of Title I, Section 313A3 of the Vermont statutes.
So move.
Thank you, Dave.
All in favor? Aye.
It's gonna include,
Oh yeah, who's it gonna include?
is it gonna include,
Everybody but Carrie.
yep,
Okay,
bye Carrie. Is,
you can come back up
Yeah,
after.
it won't take very long. Okay, so did you do it? Did you do all in favor?
all,
All in favor?
well, aye.
Aye.
Okay, I paused.
Those-
Okay, we are back in open session. There was no action taken.
And we're back. Derek?
Or no action needed. That way it doesn't sound like it's up in the air.
Um. Dave, you gonna hang around? We'll be on budgets in just a second.
No, I think I'm fine. I'm
Okay.
just, if my wife calls, I'll probably just bug out.
Okay. All right, next up, we got vault shelving. This is something that, I don't know, Deb, maybe you want to explain it. It was approved a while ago by a previous board and, but they never did the work, and now we're coming back around. We'd like to do it again.
That is correct. It was brought to the board's attention prior to when Mike Scott and Brad were on the board. With the understanding that definitely, what's that?
It's good because I don't remember it.
It's all way pre-COVID. That the vault was getting at the point where renovations or updating needed to be done in order to make it a little bit more efficient. With talking, well, so what I did is I went back out to the same individual that we had obtained the first quote from DuPont Storage Systems. He has come out twice now to go ahead and review our vault, and I did request an updated quote. Of course, pre-COVID to now after COVID, things have changed drastically. To give you a little summary, I did provide some pictures to you earlier. The ones that show the land records books, the two top ones, you will see down in the bottom right-hand corner of those pictures. I have actually needed to double up some of the books because I do not have enough shelving for the books to go on. And I actually have one more book, my book 71, that I'm currently working on to try to find a spot within the shelving. So what our theory is on top of the land record shelving, we're going to instill some additional shelves at the top to be able to expand some of the extra book stuff that needs to go up there, and also change the index books from the left side of the vault back over to the right where they should belong with all the land records book themselves. Talking with Mr. Barlow today, we did see where we can try to manipulate a little bit of more room within that existing shelving to capture a few more spots where we can fit a few more books as well. But definitely the additional storage up at the top is still required. This last time when Ron came up to do the quote, he did bring up a good point, which is another section on the quote. This part was not included within the first quote that we had received from him. The other picture is the survey maps. So you're going to see my container, and on top of them, you're going to see the whole bunch of maps that are just sort of laid there, rolled. He went ahead and quoted as far as the project to be front section, right side map tower unit on top of that unit. He's like, why not go ahead and utilize some of that dead space right there with a facility to be able to put those maps in to make it look a little bit more presentable instead of just the hoopla that you just sort of see in the picture. That takes care of the front part of the vault. The back part of the vault is this picture that I will sort of put up to try to show you. Currently, what's gonna happen is this side of the vault, right now, we do have shelving, but the shelving actually sticks out, I wanna say probably a good 5 inches past this concrete partial wall. What we're gonna do is remove that whole unit, establish this with a smaller unit, because what's gonna happen is a lot of stuff we're placing in boxes. Well, the boxes, you've got so much dead space behind them, so we really can't utilize that space efficiently to its full purpose, what it needs to be. So by putting in the smaller shelf, the boxes are gonna go straight to the back. Now you don't have the dead space out behind a lot of these in these shelves. And the extra room is actually going to the opposite side where you have that back row of shelving. But then we're also gonna have this additional shelf right here, this one right here, that will be able to move back and forth on a track. So you're gonna actually gain more usable shelving to place some of this stuff on. Correct, Phil. So that is what we came up with as far as a solution to try to get the vault to be in a little bit better of a situation than what it currently is. Right now, we're maxed out to the point.
So what is the total price here? I'm looking at what, a little over
The total
8,500?
price, yeah, project A, this is for the back section that I just explained to you. That price is $5,235. And then for the front section top roller style shelving above my land records to allocate for more space for the books that I desperately need. The price to do that unit is $1,825. Those two were the original first two specs that we had put out to bid. The middle section, project B, is the new one. When he just came out, he's like, you know what, you do have some extra space right here. You could actually turn into usable space to help, you know, align the vault a little bit more appropriately. And that's where project B, front section, right side map tower, comes into play at a project price of $1,485. So this does not include installation. As you can see, that's in a different price down below. But Ron did state that technically we could go ahead and install this equipment ourselves. It's not that much to it to install. And Mr. Galt did come into the office today, and I sort of did mention that little aspect to him if he thought that would be something that him and John would be able to handle. And he stated they should be able to go ahead and be able to construct that, so we didn't have to go ahead and spend the money on that. But that's completely up to you guys. But definitely I need some new organization down in that vault.
Total without installation is $85.45.
Yep.
What are
Scott, you hear me?
Yeah,
So I don't know, do you deal with shelving at all in your storage? I didn't know. I just don't know what to compare the prices to.
this shelving is, what's it made out of, Deb? Do you know?
It's technically like similar to what we have downstairs that's already in the vault. I honestly don't know if he could have been the vendor to establish some of that shelving down there. That I don't know. But let me go to.
Hey, Deb,
Yes.
did he come and measure? I mean, is he building
Yep.
stuff specific?
That is correct, yes.
This is all custom shelving.
Yes, it is.
It'd just be really nice to, is it get moist in that? Is the vault like temperature controlled? Does it stay 70 like the room?
That has actually been a conversation that I think me and Mr. Barlow has had a couple of times, because that has been a conversation that has come up at a lot of our trainings. Where there are a lot of other town clerk offices, yes, that do have different components of that nature within their vaults. Because they have just gone what that means. Some of them have built brand new vaults, so they sort of just built that, some of that newer technology into it. We don't, right now, I don't really foresee where it honestly gets that damp. But you do have space in like underneath the door. Like when I go and shut that vault door, that vault is not 100% enclosed. You have got air down below that can actually migrate through that door. And we know that only because when Adam was here, I sort of locked him in the vault to see if he could look out, and he could.
Well, if there was a
So-
fire,
We
There was-
tested that theory, yeah, we tested that theory. So technically, that door, if the town office ever burned, it's definitely going to increase the chance of sustaining those items in there. But depending on the time frame, yeah, no, fire is going to definitely be able to get into that vault at some point in time. But it would be after a period of time. We're not talking like within an hour. It would be after a period of time.
Full concrete wall, right? Yeah, yeah, it's just gonna be water and
Smoke.
Big water and smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that you can do anything really about either one.
Did you, do you have this money in your budget, Deb?
What's that?
Do you have the money in the budget for this already?
I probably could find some money in the budget. I did not put this in this year's coming up because technically it was approved prior to for like 5,000. Of course, that was pre-COVID. Now we're post-COVID, so now the prices have gone up to more because it was supposed to come out of the building and reserve funds for the improvements.
Sounds like David's playing with a chicken.
Sorry, that's Coco.
So I guess if you're happy with the materials that's, this is made out
Is
of,
it,
I mean, I
is
don't,
it metal? Do you know what it is made out of? Is it metal? Not in here.
I think it looks pretty similar to what you have, don't it, Deb?
Yeah, it does look like, I'm just looking to see if there's something specific.
It doesn't really look that unique. I guess the handy part is it's all measured, built to order.
Eco-friendly gloss, pack 28 standard colors, metallic finishes available right up there.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking at the colors right now to end up. Steel fixtures.
Yeah, so it's metal.
total, what's the total?
10,670.
10, 670. I think you could, I bet these guys are a little negotiable on their price because I think you could get at least that off. I think you should ask for, if it's 10.6, you should ask them to, in 10.6, they'll install it for $1,000. So that night, see if they'll do it for like 9,700 installed. That's all you have.
Okay,
If
okay.
anything else is in grant, I don't think you should install it, David.
I don't think so.
This stuff's a pain in the ass to work with,
Yeah.
That way it's kind of covered.
and it's covered if it falls apart or if you're moving the part
I
that.
didn't say I could, but I'd never rule out John.
Oh.
Yeah, whatever you guys,
Well,
whatever you
9,700
guys
with
decide.
install.
Yeah, tell them you got the board to approve 9,600 installed,
Okay,
and then we can go from there. If they don't accept it, we'll go from there next. But I don't think you should install it.
okay.
Are you going
I'll
to
make that motion. Or I'll second that motion.
the motion?
Scott made the motion.
And I actually, I think
9,600
I think we should let Deb have the,
96 or 97?
let's have Deb have the negotiation power up to 10,000, but try to get it for 96.
Okay, 96 or 97?
Dick.
Up to 10.
Yeah, they'll take 96.
Seconded
Okay.
by Phil.
All in favor?
Aye.
I still try to get a little off.
Next up, we have budgets and appropriations.
I'm surprised nobody's tried that.
Just a reminder to get your
Oh,
budget
wait, you're gonna-
information to me as soon as possible.
You don't bill us.
Appropriations, I think it's gonna be a record appropriations year. I think we're gonna be the most,
That one I sent you, you had already gotten.
no.
You didn't get it, so there were some, so.
Yeah, it's good. Look there, because there was, I think you sent me a call. It didn't work, come to my mind.
Did you say there was a lot, Matt?
Yeah, it seems like there's a couple new ones this year, plus everything else, and then there was a couple that went up. They're asking us for more money.
So we are supposed to put on that list, to get it in for warning. So at some point, we're gonna,
I haven't got them all yet. Still got one out there. Two out there.
I'm gonna go log in them. Run down through that.
Okay, we are ready for the treasurer's report.
So on the budget side,
Oh, never mind, we're not ready.
Good one.
unless this is a David, an update of where we're at on the budget to look at. Usually do a line, or doesn't have to be tonight, but I think like, and also where we're gonna be, because we're gonna have to vote on the budget here for the next meeting, aren't we?
Yeah. Yeah, you're coming down to the timeline.
So we might
Go
have-
ahead.
we
If
might
we're gonna do that at the next meeting, can we have that just be the meeting? And have everything up on display, and we can go down through each department like we did last year and comment and make decisions as we go through? Is that how we're gonna do it?
That would be my like,
Mine too.
so we need to have an updated meeting.
We're gonna talk about that.
When's the next meeting? Is
We're gonna
that
talk about that. Well, January 2nd, Tuesday. Oh.
No, January 3rd is the,
January 1st.
Monday.
January 1st is Sunday. So January-
Right, but January
So
2nd.
we'll get to
we're
that.
closed.
We'll get to that.
On the agenda. Okay. So are we ready for the treasurer's report?
Yeah, so just as long as we go line item, budget, I'm assuming things are being updating things.
I would like it on a spreadsheet. Had in the past, that was, Amanda had it down.
Never have to do it in half, but you can do whatever you want.
David has an idea.
I can actually, those of you that actually want to send that out. Where we can also send it out.
PDFs.
Both.
Probably have it so terrible on screen too. That'd be
once
easy.
A lot of it's hard.
I mean, everything's there, numbers and figure it.
Like that, like I follow the commission numbers, like all that numbers like that. So some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to. So I mean, the stuff that needs to be filled in is the as of then for this year and I mean, some stuff for,
So it's probably easier after the quarter, the end of the, then we,
it would be good to do.
yeah.
There's no way we're ready.
No, yeah.
We're not doing it.
No.
No, I wasn't asking for that,
No,
Yeah, next week.
but I think it's gonna be,
For sure, it should be the next meeting.
we're gonna have to finalize the next meeting too, probably.
okay.
Okay, all right, Dave, you're up.
All right, I invite you to look at the treasurer's report. In all its exciting glory, almost cue music. So November is the treasurer's favorite month, where he gets to reconcile tax collection. That roughly on the scan C and D, somewhere down there like page 8, where my notes are extensive
Page 8. I've got a page
I
one.
printed out the first page for it.
You got it all electronically, but I didn't print it out. First, that's viewed at home when you can't have trouble sleeping,
Yeah,
but,
they just had this front page.
but it did in fact balance out to the 10. So yay. In terms of the report that you're looking at, you can come to point out, they started the month, 3.8 million in the general. That reflects collection of most of the taxes at that point. Taxes were due November 7th. And then over the period, over the month, we finished tax collection. We paid the school a little over 2.3 million. That takes a healthy chunk out of the general fund, but paid tax, so how we go, really cool. I guess it just under 1.6 million in general end of the month. That's kind of a good place to look at the number. Well, we got a lot of money. Once you've cleaned the education tax out, we're 3/4. No, we're halfway through the fiscal year. We still got a couple of Casella, 1.6 million. We're pretty good. I've added a line, kind of moving on. I've added a line here for the ARPA funds, American Rescue Plan funds, just under how much is obligated up the board elected. Set aside some money for a specific purpose. Eventually, hopefully, we'll get to having a committed column as well that will say, okay, whoever we, for instance, in this case, the fire district, once they get a contract in place or whatever it is they're doing, I think they procure at least through contract, get down the road a little bit on executing this plan of theirs that would become committed and at some point dispersed, hopefully. So federal funds, you get a little more language in there in terms of where things are at. Moving on to the reserve funds, we only had one big expense this past, and that was the painting of the meeting house, 41,600. That was it. And on the investment side, well, things continue the way they've been continuing this year. It's just kind of one of those years. They do happen. Here it is. End of November actually wasn't too bad. Things had kind of come back a little bit, and they weren't, so. If you look at it again today, well, we'll get that next month.
Maybe it'll come back by then.
Hold that happy thought. The Fed is saying nothing else currently. But that's okay. And I'll talk about that when we get to the investment portfolio stuff. So to sum up, we had November, the big month for the treasurer and the money counting. We paid out to the school. We paid the painter. Here we are. Still having success balancing something the auditor has wanted me to do, and have been able to do it now for over a year. Balance the general fund against the general fund that's in NEMRIC. So each month, the CNB bank account gets reconciled against what's in NEMRIC.
That's amazing.
It's holding.
That's amazing. Good job.
I mean, getting better at it, but in fact, it happens. We still have a ways to go with that because we still have to do accounts payable and get that worked out. I just haven't had the time yet to focus on that, but we've made progress on it. Been working on that hard between me and Deb, so we're getting there. Okay, if there's no questions, that will complete the report.
Thanks, David.
You're up again.
Okay, now talking about investments. Is that what I'm talking about? Do you have
Yes.
one from Amanda?
What's that?
You have one from Amanda.
So Dave met with
We did
John.
meet, myself, Matt, and David Gallup met with John Henry. And via Zoom. And I had John talk us through our investment policy, so that both Matt and David are new to that policy, and he talked all through it in terms of, okay, it's a band of percentages that are in bonds, a band of percentages that are in stocks, and then there's other investments which include real estate and commodities and commodities like gold. Other stuff, could be, you know, corn futures and hog sides and whatever, you know, I mean, it just depends. We don't buy it that specifically, he buys into funds, but he also talked about how we seek only the really low cost, super low cost investment tools, the indexed fund period. So we talked all through that. Performance is consistent with what we would expect in this type of market. The stocks portfolio side doesn't look so good. The bonds, we took that action kind of early on to get a lot of the cash into cash, and now in perhaps moving to CDs. I'll talk about that in a minute. So we didn't really take a huge hit on the bond side, although we still own a fair amount of bonds, again, through my fund. The bright spot in the portfolio has been the commodities and the other alternative investments this year. Of course, it's only a small slice, but they're up like 20 or 30 something percent. I mean, it's just, you know, it's like, okay, bright spot.
Yeah, it is what it is, yeah.
That's kind of where we're at. We're staying within the investment policy. It makes sense for the town. Our time frame is infinite. And at this point, we're not gonna need the money at least until 2044, 2045, something like that. And then got a long time. We talked a little bit about using certificates of deposit as the tool in part of the bond portfolio. Something you normally wouldn't do that, but he anticipates that the rate of return on certificates of deposits, if it gets over 5%, is going to be just so good that it's going to equal or exceed the historical rate of return of bonds. So it's kind of
Putting it in CD, right? Why take the risk?
well, just, yeah, right. So you get into something that's as low risk as possible for a short term investment. It's easily understood. Most people know what a certificate of deposit is. And it might make sense. So we're waiting to see what rates for CDs do. Looks pretty promising at this point. The Fed just having raised again and promising to raise again. That's probably where it's going.
You think? What do you think? What do you think a 1 year CD will be able to yield? Are we looking at?
He's looking for something over 5%.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
now again.
So Dave, I remember him talking and I got curious on those CDs at a personal level. I said, that's pretty good. So I thought he said that was a market-based CD. Am I correct in that?
I think he used that description, yes.
Yeah, he didn't really give us the downside of those. And there was some in there, and I won't elaborate on them too much, but it's not like a traditional IRA that if I understood it right, they can bail out at any time, right? The holder of the CD can bail out at any point. If I was looking at the right one, I was just Googling it through interest.
Well, typically you cannot without taking some interest penalty.
No, the person giving the CD to us, or the investment company giving it to us, can bail out. If I'm reading the right one, if I was looking at the same thing as what he was mentioning, it's interesting because of the rate of return, and looked it up a little bit.
You cut now, Dave. Yeah, I would say that I'd have to read that, but I don't, it doesn't meet my definition of a certificate of deposit. It's usually an unequivocal contract. The issuer, which in my mind, would always be a bank that's backed by some form of insurance, FDIC or the other equivalent for credit unions.
Yes, the FDIC part's all the same. I'll talk with you at some point anyway. I'll show you what I was looking at.
It's not a done deal yet. He's gonna talk to us
Yeah.
more if he does it.
Yeah.
And it's certainly not the entire bond portfolio. It's some.
Percentage of a percentage, yeah, okay.
I just
think
wanted
that's-
to alert us because it's unusual.
Right.
We used CDs when we first got into the whole thing, because it made sense to do it as we were moving all the money.
Right,
Once we got it all moved, we haven't used them since.
no, didn't make sense when you could get 7 to 12%, but now that we're losing money, it might not be a bad idea to put a portion at a steady 5%.
Yeah. Or higher,
Or higher, yeah, it might go to 6.
the whole laddering in technique. So it's, to sum up, there's not a whole lot happening. There's not a lot of good news, there's not a lot of bad news. It is there. I did go ahead and put in, and you guys had approved putting in the, this fiscal year's contribution, 250K, so that's our part of that cash that needs investing. Okay. Thanks, David. So-
Thank you.
Okay,
Come back with better news.
other business. Number A is the community center cleaning contract. I just need you guys to make a motion to say that it's a 1-year contract.
Yeah, the contract is from June to June, I
June
believe.
to June.
June to June.
Yeah.
So we'll be looking for a new contract or
Yeah.
contract update,
In June,
probably by,
April or.
yeah, sometime in 1st of May.
Yeah.
I would say 1st of May. Everybody seems to be happy with how it's going at this point.
Yeah, everybody's happy with Kelly, but somebody else wants to put in a bid, and they just wanted to know when the contract was up, and I didn't know what to tell them. So
There's no change in the bid from Kelly. Do we need to put it out to bid? I don't think
we
we
don't
need.
have to, no, we don't have to make any change or do anything.
No, we
He
just
was
have to put it out.
Somebody else besides Kelly was interested in giving us a bid, and he wanted to know when the contract was up, and I couldn't tell him, I didn't know that because we don't have anything, I
Right.
couldn't find it, so I just.
It's
wanted to-
definitely
1 year, it's a 1-year contract, right?
correct.
Yeah.
And I think we should review it at a meeting. If you put in a note to have it at a meeting in May, and if everybody's happy with it, then I don't think we should put it out to bid. If I just leave it alone, why throw someone under the bus?
Not unless you guys want to, that's.
Right.
Totally up to you, yeah. Okay.
Because I believe we had a bid on last year and it was, the bid was probably even cheaper. It didn't take the bid.
Okay, thank you. Number B. I've got a couple. Newport ambulance contracts that need to be signed. Can you hand those to Scott and have him sign both copies? I'm gonna keep back and what I'm gonna keep.
We had already voted on those,
We've
right?
already voted on it.
This is the same as, everything's the same as what we had voted.
Everything's the same as what I told you about last month. That's just the actual paper contract. They want a copy. They want me to mail one of those back to them.
Today's what, 19th?
Yes. Next up is our meeting schedule for January. So the first Monday in January is a holiday. So I don't know what you guys want to do, if you want to meet on Tuesday the 3rd, or if you want to wait until the following Monday the 9th.
I can't do the 3rd.
Do you want to do another day that week?
I think we need to do something that week.
I'm open that week any day, so
Okay, so there's Phil can't do, there's the Wednesday the 4th or Thursday the 5th.
Yeah, I'm good with either.
I'm
Okay,
good with either.
I'm good with either.
where do you want to do it?
Do Wednesday.
Okay. So our first meeting in January will be on Wednesday, 4th, 2013, 2023.
2014.
Okay, thank you, Scott. Okay, next up,
Probably ought to put a fair amount of notice out on that one,
what do you mean?
because we changed the date.
Oh, as far as my postings and stuff?
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe send just an email and put a posting out, just notifying that the meeting's changed.
I can do that. Next up is the sheriff's invoice. You have the sheriff's invoice in that folder from this month, from last month. And here is the one from the previous month, and there's quite a discrepancy. So we thought it should be brought to your attention.
Then in the PDFs, Matt, under agenda.
No, I just barely got it, Dave, so I just printed it out.
Oh,
But the one, the
okay.
previous one, the one that's high is in the warrants folder that you should have got.
So October was 3,486. September was 3,486. This is for the services date. October was 2,273,
When we approved budget up to 30,000, I think.
and November 647. They just didn't do as much time, like a lot of that less time
That's why I wanted you to see it.
in November, so
So,
you're budgeting what, 3 hours a week?
Not much.
More than 3 hours.
That's not what we came up with last time, because she tried to raise it and nobody didn't want to raise it, so.
Well, what did we budget for the year? Then we'd know divided by her.
That's the contract.
Sheriff's contract. Do you know how
Oh,
much?
so are we talking about our budget? I'm having a hard time hearing Phil and David.
I had to look it up.
Or we're just going over invoices.
Give me a second.
We're going over invoices,
Here's
also,
Dave.
we're also trying to look up what the contract is, because I thought it was 3 hours a month is what we stuck to.
No.
33 hours a week.
13 hours a month, I think.
I think we
I
raised
thought it was like an hour and a half a week or something. It's not much.
more than that, because it's only $60 an hour. Isn't it $60 an hour?
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're paying $3,000, it's 50 hours a month she did. You know what I mean? It's gotta be, I think it's 8 hours a week. I thought, but we'll see what this, I don't remember.
A lot of, she might be doing what Kurt used to do too, just jamming up, when she's got some free time, might be just jamming us up with some hours. When Kurt was going there, you might go 9 months and not get a bill at all, then all of a sudden, in the spring, he'd get out there and pound it, and make up his budget quota.
I think the service of the sheriff would be more valuable to the town if it was consecutive, more.
Yeah,
Not jamming it up and using up a third of the budget in 2
Well,
months.
yeah.
I think it's been fairly consistent, except for November, which was $640.
They forgot about us in November.
That's probably what happened.
Okay.
The summer was like really, really light, but then all of a sudden there was these two big months, 13,000.
Well, and it's also gotta look at what they did too. Yeah, it wasn't a lot, that's why I was.
They're probably we probably used up most of the budget.
13,000 divided by 55.
No,
Divided by
Yeah.
52 weeks, it's 4.5 hours a week. It's not enough for law enforcement, that's all there is to it.
pretty standard amount that every town runs, to be truthful with you.
The problem is there's more happening and it's not getting put up enough to cover it.
So you guys, you don't have to do anything about this. I just wanted you to be aware of it.
I'm thinking they just dropped it off.
They dropped it off because they want to not be over budget, right?
I would assume, but
I think next week when we have our meeting or in 2 weeks, we'll know where we are budget wise with the
Yeah.
sheriffs and we'll say, hey, they're only they only can do another 15 hours of work for the next 3, well, their budget
Well,
goes June through June.
wouldn't our contract run, July 1st to June 30th or no?
See, here's the issue, and this is what she was trying to explain back when she was doing this, is. Things take time, like they had a stolen vehicle in Coventry, search warrant application paperwork took 2 3/4 hours in one shot. We have 4.5 hours budgeted for every week.
Right, and then, yeah. so
It,
that's-
there is not enough time in the amount of stuff that they have to do that anybody's budgeting for them anymore.
Well, have we received complaints, about not enough, coverage? I don't think we have.
No, but I think a lot of this is coming up with not even them doing. A lot of the time in here is not even their patrolling, it's,
Yeah, I did see the paperwork thing.
Yeah.
and that's
But when they have,
that's the
yeah,
problem.
when they have a case, it takes time.
It takes time, like 4 hours. Well, that was patrol, 4 hours on patrol. 2 hours to definitely locate that.
Hopefully they don't find a problem. Sorry, hey, we're gonna deal with this next month. We're over our budget. We'll be back next month to get your car.
Next fiscal year.
I don't think they can do that, can they?
No,
I mean, even though
Well,
we
they
have a
could drop
contract
off, they
with
could
them.
drop off the patrolling hours if they're. Cause it's an hour, well, I guess the contract is 3, what, I guess we need to look at what the contract says, I thought it was a per week. Amount,
I think it is, Bill.
but it's a per week amount at a budgeted hourly rate, so if they go over that 4.5 hours or whatever it is, they're still gonna bill us for it.
I think they've always been under, and I think they haven't met their quota. Didn't we added $3,000 to it, was 10, I think we bumped it to 13.
Yeah, it was 10, we added 13, but they were gonna
But when
almost
it
double
was,
it.
but
because
when it was at 10,
they-
they
they-
were only billing us for 8,000. They weren't even reaching the 10. That's why we didn't go more, because they weren't even meeting in the 10,000.
Yeah, I don't, we'll have to see what it is.
We'll see it, we'll see, but thanks for bringing that to our attention, that's good to know.
No problem. Okay, next up, we have, David, maybe you can help me with this one, the Vermont construction roofing invoice.
Oh, yeah. So we kind of, let this one. Make copies, do they have?
I don't have any.
So we got this invoice that turned up back in September, but, I kind of went digging at it today going, I wonder if we've ever paid them. Cause I was gonna follow up on the grant that we have. And it turns out we haven't paid them yet. Which I think is probably not a good idea, so.
We didn't pay them, and I think the reason we didn't pay them is because it was something we were questioning.
Was it the flashing that was painted or something?
Yes, it was the extra work the painters had to do because they felt that the roofers had, I think they had already painted the, steeple and they had to go back and redo it.
Yeah, they ripped the siding off the steeple and then put it back on, but it had already been painted, so they didn't paint it, so we got charged an extra $3,500, I believe, for Jim to do the steeple. And I think we were supposed to reach out to them and say, listen, we're okay with your bill, except our painter charges $3,500 because your guys do that stuff. I believe that
Correct.
kind of in a nutshell.
I think. The answer we're gonna get back to the flashing.
Right, but we had to get it painted.
Right, so which comes. You know, it's
Chicken
already
chicken or
signed.
the egg.
And on top of that, you guys decided to cut that check to Jim Fitzgerald, the painter. And we sent it apparently, but he hasn't cashed it yet, so I had to go after Jim today and say, well, what's up with that? You know, did you get the check?
Did he get it?
I haven't heard back from him yet.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, it was just maybe an hour ago that I fired that email off. So
These guys haven't reached out to us?
incredibly.
That's what,
No.
that's why I thought we paid them, because I would have thought they would have been on me. You know, at least 2 or 3 weeks ago
Right.
about this.
Because
And
we
I
talked
almost-
to this about 2 or 3
we
months
did,
ago.
I thought that you guys approved paying them. That's why I thought they'd already been paid, but they haven't. And I don't
It
know,
should be in our notes.
I went back through the minutes. I
Couldn't see it.
But I know we talked, I'll have to, I didn't watch the videos. I'll watch the videos and see if I can find it in there.
The thing that I remember was
The 3,500.
the 3,500.
And then they hadn't done the snow guards yet either, which the snow guards are now done.
That's on a separate bill though.
It is. But
Yeah.
So I
Hardly, most,
No, snow
Oh,
guards
yeah,
are
the
on
snow
here.
guards are all there.
a chunk of it's on that
Wow.
bill.
Maybe that's why we haven't heard anything yet, because they
And
didn't
they
get the
haven't
snow
billed
guards
us for
yet.
the other.
But still, I can remember him sending, when I asked him about the 3,500 that we had to pay Jim, he said he was gonna talk to Jim about that. To take money off of our snow guards thing, and then he asked me in the email, he said, when do I get my check for the 75 or whatever? And I'm pretty sure I said, it's in the mail, because I thought that we had. I thought we paid it.
I honestly think we approved the bill less than $3,500.
But it never, I guess we never sent it out. I think you're right, I think we did, you approved an amount.
And then last.
And we were gonna work on it,
We're holding it back and we're gonna deduct it from the
Right.
storm guards or work it out.
Yeah,
I had missed a meeting
yeah, you
or
were
two, so I may not have been.
So we have another bill for the storm guards extra,
Not yet.
not, yeah,
but we're going to.
We should have.
we should, because they only charge us 75% on there.
Unless that's where he was taking it off. Maybe it's worth a phone call.
He's notoriously hard to get on the phone, but.
Well, when you owe someone $70,000-$80,000, they usually pick up, especially if you want
I
to.
would have thought he would have
He would have been on
I
top
mean,
of
he's the
it.
kind of guy, I mean, with my prior interactions with him, he seemed like the kind of guy that wouldn't let this go for 3 or 4 weeks, but.
All right, so I think we should make a motion to approve this bill less $3,500 and let Matt talk with him. That way, if he needs a check, you can cut him a check less 3,500, and then we can work on that. If everybody's.
There's already been discussion with him on that. It's not gonna be a surprise to him with that discussion with.
No.
Well, even if you read it for less, I'd rather get 76,000.
Oh, yeah, no, I understand. I just, yeah.
Because when I told him, but he asked for Jim's email and phone number so he could talk to Jim about it.
Okay. Yep.
So
I second.
I dig up Jim's bill and get it with this and get it ready to email to him and just tell him you're approved to pay it less the payment.
$7,600.
Okay, so you
$76,000
you, Scott motioned,
Yeah,
to pay the bill was.
I make a
$76,000.
motion to pay Vermont Construction Roof Division their invoice dated to the town on 9/6/2022. The amount of the invoice is $79,500. I recommend the town hold back $3,500 until further discussion about the extra repairs that needed to be done to the steeple due to them ripping off the siding.
Second.
All those in favor?
All right,
Aye.
thanks, guys.
Okay.
Okay, and then one more for you, David, that would be the power washer purchase.
yeah, so, our power washer's been down for like a month. The actual pump and everything was working, and we tried researching other brands. Mighty M is a good one, but we couldn't find anything in the size we needed. The repairs to do so, we basically had to ship the machine down there or pay $600 for a tech to even get here. So it's a 2009, the machine is. So today he came up with the machine, and given the storm we got coming, I didn't want to fool around with it anymore, and I just purchased it. And they allowed us, I think if you've got the invoice in front of you, you'll see that they allowed us $1,000 for the old one. We looked at trying to get it repaired locally. Bill, who does it is just basically a Beckett burner, but something to do, Bill wouldn't even look at it. He said, no, you get into that wiring, that type of wiring, and it's way out of his league. And the guy from the company today said that was a really smart move on Bill's.
Yeah, so it was, this one, how much was, I can't read this invoice, it's like $7,000,
I think it said 7,700,
and they gave us.
77.95, and then it was $1,000 trade-in.
Okay.
We would have had, we would have had to get all the electrical stuff done on it, and then have to repack all the.
No, I understand.
all
12 no, you don't have to sell me. I have these things. I know that was a good move to get a new one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Diesel?
How big is it?
No, it's gas. Well, actually, it's gas. It's a gas motor with diesel burner.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
And that's what was happening. That was what was happening. It was still throwing diesel, but it wasn't igniting. So the stator, John was getting different wattages, different currents from the stator, and we couldn't figure it out. I guess they are kind of complex. And at the end of the day, it's kind of an emergency tool. We need it for thawing culverts, and I'm guessing Saturday we might be putting it to test.
Where does that come from?
That comes out of road, doesn't it?
It could be, well, that's why I want to be on this.
Yeah, so-
on this particular journey, it could be the highway capital
Yeah,
reserve fund.
Or ARPA funds?
yeah.
Or
But that's
But,
probably too much work.
it raises at the same time the issue of we need to get a capital policy in place in terms of what's a piece of capital equipment. So I would argue this is a piece of capital equipment.
Mhm.
And what I guess what I'm looking for is you guys to direct me to work with Matt to come up with a draft policy so that
Mhm.
we have one. Because the auditor's coming to town January 3rd, something like that. He's gonna be looking for that policy. So,
And we don't have a meeting before that to
well, I know that's
approve
okay,
it.
that's okay. As long as we're working on it.
Okay.
So
Helpful to know, have like a minimum number, okay, if it costs more than 4,000 or 5,000, it's helpful number. It's something that has a lifetime. Normally, it's a piece of equipment with a lifetime.
Probably 10 years lifetime, I would say.
Yeah, it
Well,
could
not with
be,
everything.
we normally depreciate things over, like this would be a 5-year depreciation, but that's on the book side. But it gives you increased visibility on what we have. That might fall into that category, but let's say from a paying for it standpoint, it would reasonably fall into that roads capital expenditure.
Mhm.
Okay.
Reserve fund.
And
So-
actually, David, I think there are built-in formulas for basically every type of equipment that we have, as far as the depreciation. And if you're looking to have a solid capital reserve plan, is that what you're looking at?
One step at a time, that would be good to get to.
Yeah. So I think.
The new plow truck doesn't come with a heater.
Hey, I don't care. I only drive it during the day. Zach drives it at night.
Okay.
All right, guys, I'm gonna get going, okay?
All right.
Hang on, no, wait.
Well, you could have one, I don't.
No.
At this point, just a head nod, go do
Yeah.
it. That way, when you get a bill from me for a couple hours or more to
Yep.
Yeah,
work on this, it's
Yeah.
not a surprise.
Right.
Okay, thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
let's do,
Have a good day, man.
hey, hang on, Dave. I need you for warrants. Wood CRW.
On warrants?
Yeah, so the Wood check and invoices, where's that standing? I know you put out there that it's not right.
Yeah, so I believe I put the number in that email. So, what happened there was the monthly rental is $5,400.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure if it was a miscommunication or what, but they sent the machine without a thumb.
Yep,
So there I am with the machine on Main Street with no thumb. So it sat there for 2 days. Then so we went ditching. And then like a week or two later, they brought finally found me a machine with a thumb and it changed places. Well, what CJ did was he billed us for the 5,400, then started billing us a weekly amount for that one. So I called him up on it, and he was all good with what I said. You know, so basically, you were at the 5,400. So this is what we agreed on was the 5,400. I accredited that account $1,000 because I used the machine for 3 days at my house.
Yep.
And then there was a bill. Me and Scott, we split the cost of moving the other machine up because, you know, well, it was kind of a he said, she said that I needed thumb. I know I did ask for the thumb, but so we paid one way on that moving. I think that's a 483. Do you see that on the invoice?
Yep, 438.
438, and then you had another bill for a few gallons of DEF.
Probably $800 one.
Circle the ones that are good on there.
Well,
Yeah.
no, hold on, check. So what's gonna have to happen is we're gonna need a new invoices.
I asked him to send that, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be sending the invoice. And I told him that I would do my best to get the bill paid at this meeting. But I think we're good to go. I think on that, you should be seeing it. If he hasn't sent it, I can remind him. I would say cut it. I would say cut a check and just hold it till you get the invoice if you want.
Can you even do that, Deb?
We
What's
can, but I
that?
guess I just need a little bit more clarification because there was like 5 or 6 different invoices.
Yeah. So I
that
think
we
Yeah, no.
posted.
Yeah, he just got all out of.
the invoices and Mark's ones are right, and then she can get a check cut and I'll prove it on a separate AP run.
Yeah.
For that amount, but then we still need the invoices. It won't get sent until we get the updated invoice or statement.
Okay, you want to approve the amount, then I'll just reach out to CJ and have him send up the new invoice.
So what's gonna happen on here is they're gonna approve the warrants minus CRW. And then Deb will do another AP run and with it, and I'll just do the.
We're gonna, yeah, let
I'll
Bill approve it with
via
that.
email with Deb.
Yeah, so you had what was our total amount?
The new total or the old total?
New total.
I don't know. That's why there's many invoices on here. It'd be a lot easier with you just go through it in person.
Yeah, I think we were at 4,900, right around that range.
Yeah.
Any questions, Deb can reach out to me Thursday, or you can, anybody can.
Yep.
And I'll touch base with CJ again.
Okay.
Okay, good.
We all set?
Thanks, David.
All right. Have a good Christmas, guys.
You too.
Chill.
Bye.
Minutes from December 5th, 2022.
I didn't even read them.
I did. I make a motion to approve the minutes from 12/5/2022.
If they all look good, I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
You can't get that raise.
Okay, next is the warrants.
Are we spelling out number 44 or doing it as number 44?
I thought we were spelling it out. No, we weren't spelling it, just numbers.
Number
Just
44.
number 44,
Okay.
right?
No, it was, I thought it was right, I was writing the word 44.
Okay, that one
Because
will
you
go.
can't have it, you can't have the number on there, it'll just be TH, just like it was before.
No, you can have it.
You can?
Yeah.
We'll go back through the video on that one and verify it before
I
you
think,
signed the letter with number 40, like the numbers.
yeah, because that's, I thought, how we were gonna have it.
Yeah, that's how I thought it was too. Number 2 road, okay. Warrant,
Warrants.
It's gonna, I haven't looked at it. This packet, this is all. Other than that one bill in the,
yeah,
everything's standard.
Yeah, this is all tax credit stuff. I approved the other day. Credit card.
There was one invoice from UniFirst I set aside because David was questioning as far as one of the charges. It's valid, but John hadn't received a new pair of pants yet. So once John receives a new pair of pants, we'll pay that one invoice because it's $140 for those 2 pair of pants.
It's not in here though, right?
Nope, I didn't pay it. It's entered in the system. It's pending for payment, but it's not paid.
Why do you need a desk calendar?
Deb wanted a new desk.
Oh, why does Deb need a desk calendar?
Because the old
To
one.
mark when you guys want your APs.
Just use the same one over.
It's just used 2022.
Exactly.
And to mark down to pay the credit card and
The clip.
I'm glad I wouldn't have to do it. Oh, those are the credits because of,
State stuff, right? The homestead stuff, that's what the credits are,
and overpayments.
and overpayments.
Yeah, there's a whole variety of things.
so people actually, they are supposed to pay a certain amount, they overpay it. Some people,
Yeah, some people do that.
Yeah.
Some of it's accidental, some of it's not. You can also, if you have a state income tax refund, you can leave it with the state and they will apply it towards your dedicated tax bill, and that brings up in these credits as well. So we don't really know for sure with all of them. I make a guess.
oh, okay,
And this year was back to normal. Last year we had that, it's miserable 50 something.
Mm.
So this year,
I'll make a motion to approve the warrants
so move,
with the exception of this DRW Woods check. I should probably rate that on the
Boyd,
Yes, on
Okay.
that warrant,
Okay,
please.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
you just need to adjourn us, boys.
motion to adjourn, unless there's
So
anything
moved.
else. Second.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Thanks, guys. Great job, everybody.
Hey, have a Merry
That's great.
Christmas.
Have a Merry Christmas, everyone.
Happy New Year.
That's right, and Happy New Year.
We'll see you.
Happy New Year.